Imagine having a dream so big that almost everyone thinks you're crazy. A dream not about becoming rich, not about building a company, but about taking humanity to another planet. For one entrepreneur, the dream was Mars. While most people were building apps and websites, he spent his days thinking about rockets. His nights were filled with blueprints, engineering problems, and one question: how do we make life possible beyond Earth? But there was one problem. Almost nobody believed him. Investors laughed. Experts doubted him. And many people thought the idea was impossible. Still, he pushed forward. His team built rockets. They prepared for launch. And after years of work, the moment finally arrived. Then disaster struck. The rocket exploded. Millions of dollars disappeared in seconds. The dream looked finished, and the world was watching. News outlets criticized him. People called the project a failure. Many believed it was over. But sometimes success comes right after your lowest moment. Instead of quitting, he made one final bet. The company used its remaining resources. The team worked day and night. Everything depended on one last chance. And then it worked. The rocket reached space. The company survived. And what happened next changed everything. Most people think SpaceX is only a rocket company. But that's not the real story. The real game changer was Starlink. Thousands of satellites were launched into orbit, creating a giant internet network around the planet. Suddenly, remote towns, ships in the ocean, and people living far from traditional internet infrastructure could connect to the world. And that meant recurring revenue, not just rocket launches. Then came an even bigger ambition. A rocket so powerful, so massive, that it could completely change the economics of space travel. If successful, the cost of reaching space could fall dramatically, opening the door to industries that don't even exist yet: space tourism, lunar missions, cargo, transportation, and one day, perhaps even cities on Mars. What once sounded like science fiction started looking possible, and that's when Wall Street started paying attention. Investors weren't just looking at rockets anymore. They were looking at a company trying to build the future. Today, some reports suggest a valuation close to $1.75 trillion. Let that sink in. A company that started with an almost impossible dream could become one of the most valuable companies on Earth. But not everyone agrees. Some analysts believe the valuation is too high. Others believe it's still undervalued. And that's where the debate begins. Because investors aren't really buying today's company. They're buying tomorrow's company. They're buying the possibility of what could happen next. So what are investors really buying? A rocket company, an internet company, or a future where humanity expands beyond Earth? That's the trillion-dollar question. Maybe this becomes one of the greatest business stories ever told. Or maybe expectations become too high. Nobody knows. But one thing is certain: the story is far from over. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think SpaceX is really worth $1.75 trillion? Or is it one of the biggest bets in history? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more finance stories that explain the world's biggest companies in simple words.